continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, and Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson.
Evening at a beach near Peyton Place. For Rodney Harrington and Allison Mackenzie, this warm evening offers the chance for a special New England pleasure, a clam bake, together with Norman Harrington and Rita Jacks.
Why don't we start the clam bake?
Okay, why don't you get some rocks, seaweed, and twigs, and I'll dig a hole.
Aye, aye, sir. We could have brought a shovel, you know.
What, to make it easy on myself? They call me Hardway Harrington down on the loading dock. I better dig this a little deeper. Here it comes. Okay, High Priestess baby. Go ye and get the sacrificial offerings.
Okay.
It won't be long, baby.
To Norman and Rita.
Oh, they'll be here. You care to have a dance while we await the feast?
All right. Sand makes a nice dance floor, doesn't it?
This isn't sand, mate. It's a cloud.
We're gonna have a wonderful summer.
The long, golden summer of Allison and Rodney.
Nothing's gonna spoil it. Why don't we go in swimming?
Okay. I'll race you.
Okay.
Miss Chernak, I'd like to thank you for a wonderful dinner.
Oh, you're welcome, Doctor. But if I knew to expect you, I would have cooked something fancy.
Well, I enjoyed what I had. It was delicious.
Thank you. Joe, Doctor's back.
Thank you, Joe.
Doctor, about my husband
Well, I think he'll be up in a day or so, Miss Chernak.
and the drinking.
We'll have to make sure he eats properly. Good night. Good night, Joe. Good night.
I'll walk you to your car. I could use the air.
I'm afraid maybe I shouldn't have stayed tonight.
I invited you.
Well, I know, but it must have been a burden to your mother.
Dinner was all cooked. All she had to do was set another place at the table.
That simple?
Did you find it a strain, Doctor?
Miss Chernak.
Did you?
What are you trying to prove?
I've never entertained a, quote, gentleman caller under my parents' roof.
I'm not really what you call a, quote, gentleman caller. I'm a doctor on a house call.
It was still a first. Well, there have been men in my life, Doctor.
Well, I'm sure there were.
In another life. Another world. A world of wall-to-wall carpeting instead of cracked kitchen linoleum. A world of place settings instead of a crockery mug full of forks in the center of a bare kitchen table.
I don't quite understand whether you're defending the home you were raised in or attacking it.
Let's say that I wanted to see it through the eyes of someone who'd been brought up in another kind of home.
Afraid you picked me as the wrong subject. I was born and raised in a New York tenement. It wasn't really unlike tonight. Instead of, what was it we had for dinner?
Pierogi.
Pierogi. It might have been pasta, but otherwise it was very much like tonight. We ate in the kitchen. We even took baths in the kitchen. Good night, and another thanks to your mother.
Mama, why do you always figure I'm in some kind of trouble, huh?
What happened?
Nothing. It's a scratch, that's all. It's nothing at all.
How did it happen? Oh. Joey, I want to know.
Will you get off of my back? I'm sorry, Mama, but will you just please leave me alone?
I want to help you. I don't want you to end up like your father.
I thought I told you to shut up about my father.
Find a road for yourself. Stella did.
Yeah, look where it got her.
Joey, your sister can stay or she can go whenever she wants, but she has some place to go to. Joey, she knows who she is.
Kitchen a minute. What happened to that stimulating and challenging conversation?
Well, the last thing I remember was Dad saying that he thought Matt should not go off on a long vacation.
And Elliot said he thought I ought to mind my own business.
And I said if they were going to have an argument, I was leaving. And it's time I did. Connie, thank you for your dessert and coffee.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't get to taste my stroganoff.
Elliot, you have some catching up to do if you're going to take over the Clarion. I think you should make the rounds with me tomorrow. You know, the hospital, the town hall, the police station. They'll be your general sources of information.
That's a good idea. Thank you, Matt.
Good night. I'll go with you.
I thought you wanted to talk over taking over that boat rental concession.
Oh, that's right, I do. I'll just see him to the gate.
Thanks again, Connie.
Come again.
See you first thing in the morning, Matt.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, Mr. Newspaper Editor, you have your life and I have mine.
Oh,
the dishes.
You're afraid of something, and that's why you're running away.
Yes, I am afraid of something.
That's why you're taking this trip. You're trying to avoid the quiet, dull, deadly kind of life that we call retirement.
Eli, I am not afraid of retirement. But I am afraid I won't get to observe enough of this world that I've lived in for so many years. So I'm going away. And I'm going to see things that, along with me, have survived all these years.
Well, the truth is, Matt, I'm selfish.
Yes, you are selfish.
I just hate to lose a guy that I can beat at checkers.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just going over some last-minute arrangements for the party tomorrow. I want to be sure that I haven't forgotten anything.
What arrangements have you made for Kim?
Well, that's all taken care of. I hired a girl from the college to come and sit with her.
A stranger?
Well, they'll get to know each other, David. She'll come here a little early. Now, look, I know what you're thinking, but please don't say it. Don't even mention her name.
I had no intention of mentioning Allison.
You know, I don't even feel in the least bit guilty about letting her go.
Forget it!
All right, David, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous. It's our first party here. I want to be sure that nothing goes wrong.
I'm sorry. Now listen, don't you worry about a thing, because you are a good planner and a very good hostess. And I'm sorry I barked at you.
No. This has been such a terrible week for us both. Why did Elliot Carson have to write that letter? You know, tomorrow night, nobody will mention it, but you can be sure that everybody will be thinking about it.
I had a long talk with Carson today.
Did you really?
I had the opportunity and I took advantage of it. It's a good thing I did, because he's going to be the editor of the Clarion.
You must be joking.
What kind of a joke would that be? No, Swain is going on vacation or a trip or something.
Oh, but that is just marvelous. Now, Elliot Carson can attack you in every editorial.
No, not necessarily. As a matter of fact, Doris, I think it would be a good idea for you to invite them to come tomorrow night. I think it would be an excellent idea.
Well, I don't. I don't think so at all.
To have Carson in my home, on my home grounds?
But, David...
I know what your concern is. It's a last-minute invitation and it's awkward. I know that.
No. No, you do not know my concern at all. Now, just think about it. Elliot Carson in your home, winning over your friends. David, I am not a fool.
No, you're not. But as far as Carson is concerned, that's just a chance I'll have to take.
Elliot, I have to do the dishes.
I know. I've heard that before. Somehow I'm not convinced. Oh, no. Between the dishes and the telephone, we've got about as much privacy as a couple of guppies in a goldfish bowl.
Well, maybe they're not at home.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Mr. Carson. This is Doris Shuster. Am I disturbing you?
No, not at all, Mrs. Shuster. What can I do for you?
Well, I realize this is all terribly last minute. But David and I are having some friends over tomorrow night for a buffet dinner party. And we were hoping that you and Mrs. Carson could attend.
Tomorrow night? Well, as far as I know, we've nothing planned, but I better check with my wife. Excuse me. We're being invited to a party at the Schusters.
For tomorrow night?
If somebody asked me at the last minute, I'd say no.
Well, let's see what the Carsons say, please.
I don't know if we should. There's something behind it.
Well, you bet there is. I'll tell them yes. We're available, and we'd be delighted to come.
Oh, good. Well, then we'll look forward to seeing you. About 7:30.
Thank you.
Why do you think they invited us?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to punch me in public.
I still think it's a mistake to go.
Oh, why? With you at my side, I've got nothing to worry about.
After the way that you've...
I attacked him. Listen, I'll volunteer to do the dishes in the morning.
In the morning, you're going to be busy with Matt. In fact, you're going to be a very busy man. Fires and floods and speeches that'll keep you out at all hours.
Yes, but man cannot live on fire and floods alone.
The dishes, Elliot.
All right, I'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'll do them. And in the interest of fair play, I'll cook you breakfast and I'll serve it to you in bed.